Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Farquharson, and I'm an associate professor in the School of Communication Science and Disorders at Florida State. And I thought I'd spend a couple of minutes today walking you through one of my favorite websites to use for research and literature reviews and class preparation, and that is Google Scholar. And so let's see here. If you just type in simply scholar.google.com, you should see this page pop up. And like any other Google type of search engine, you then see a search bar in which you can type in what it is you're looking for. And so you can be specific to say that you want to look for. So when I click in there, it also is pulling down a menu of things I've recently typed in. But you can say that you're looking for articles on voice disorders in children. And then it can pull up a list of what your options are. You can also be specific to the author. So I'll be self-serving here and search for some of my own articles. And so I want to look for some work I've done with my colleague Shireen Tambaraja. And so I type in our two last names, and because of the uniqueness of our last names, there's not a whole lot that comes up that's not our work. So you can see our papers come up here. So in addition to this being a great search engine, I want to show you a few really great features. So first of all, let me go back to the main screen here and show you, you'll see my little picture up in the right-hand corner. That means that I'm logged in to Google Scholar through my account. And so I happen to have a Gmail account. And so if you have a Gmail account, you can also sign in to Google Scholar, and then it's linked to your email account. And there's a few reasons why that's helpful. So first of all, so I click on there and I see that this is linked to my Gmail account. So if you do have any questions about this video, you can send me an email there, kyfark@gmail.com. You can also email me through my Florida State email address, which is kelly.farquharson, that's FARQUHARSON, at cci.fsu.edu. But the reason why it's important and helpful to log into your Gmail account if you have one is because you're able to set up alerts. So I'm going to start by showing you how to set up an alert. So once you're logged in and your Gmail account is associated with the Google Scholar, you can go over to the left-hand side here, click on the three little bars at the top corner, and you'll see this left navigation pop out. And so then you can click on alerts. So when I click on this, what you're going to see is the list of alerts that I currently have. And so it will look different for you. So when you click on alerts, these are the alerts that I receive. So what that means is that anytime there is a research article that is published with this topic, school-based speech language pathology, or by a specific researcher that I follow, I get an email that links me to that article. So I have some of these on specific topics, as you'll see, new traumatic brain injury, new articles on phonology, working memory, and then some researchers that I like to follow. Because I'm a researcher myself, I also have an alert set up so that I get I get an alert when there are new citations to my articles. So when there are new researchers or researchers publishing new work and they've cited my work, I get an email about that. So that's less helpful for you if you're not a researcher, but it is helpful to know if you are someone who's interested in pursuing research. But this is a great way to set up alerts to get the newest information that you're interested in. So how you would do that is create alert, and then you type in what you're interested in. So do you want to get information on voice disorders in children? You type that in, and then you create the alert. It's incredibly simple. You might also want to create an alert for someone in our department, the School of Communication Science and Disorders, and you might want to follow their work. So I might want to follow the work of Dr. Lansford. And so I create an alert there. And then anytime Dr. Lansford gets a publication, I get an email. And so I get to see her work as soon as it's published, which is really handy. If I decide, you know what, I don't want to get that information about voice disorders in children anymore, I have this alert here. I just cancel it. Then I don't get that email. Cancel alert. When you do get the emails that have alerts, also at the bottom of the email, it will also give you the option to cancel as well. So that's another way that you can do that. Okay, I'm going to go back to the main page. So we've covered how to set up an alert. So you can do that for a topic or a specific author. And so I'm going to pull up again. Let's see, I'll pull up this work on reading comprehension by my PhD advisor, Tiffany Hogan. So there's a few things that you'll see here. One is that you'll see a link to the title of the article, and you'll see the author's names below it. You'll see a few links down here that I'm going to show you, and you'll also see a link over here. So I'm going to orient you to all of these things. So if you are interested in reading this article, I typically right-click and have it open in a new tab. And that way I don't have to lose the list that it brought up for me. And so you'll see that I can click over to that tab and see that article. I'll come back to that in a second. The thing that I really love about Google Scholar is this little quotation mark here. So if I've already read this article and I know I want to cite it in a paper, and this will be incredibly useful for any of your classes, I click on this. And what it pulls up for me is the formatted citation for a variety of common citation formats. So MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver, all the different ways that we might cite this in a reference list or bibliography. I typically use APA, and that's very common in our field. And so what I'm able to do then is copy this, and then I can paste it into a Word document as a to begin my reference list or my bibliography. Now, one word of caution here, and this is a good example because you see this doesn't have the complete citation. So most of the time, I'd say 85% of the time, Google Scholar does give you the complete citation and it's correct, but there's about 15% of the time that it's not correct. And so you always still have to check. So this is not an excuse for getting out of learning APA formatting, and this is not a quick fix per se, but it is a handy tool. So what's missing here, so we have the author's names, we have the year, we have the title of the article, but we're missing the name of the journal, the volume of the journal, and the page numbers. So that's important, and we want to make sure we would get that. Let's take a look at another example to see, and this example is complete. So this is a research article by Jessie Ricketts, and so we see the APA format has her last name, first initial, the year, the title of the paper, the article or the journal itself, which is in italics. Then we've got the volume and the issue and the page numbers. And that is a complete APA citation. So that one would be safe to copy and paste and use as is. So that's a really helpful tool. This is one of my favorite features of Google Scholar. So if I am working on a manuscript and I need to cite something, I'm able to go and grab that format pretty quickly. Now, there are other ways to do that too through reference managers, but I'm speaking about this more for students, and so you might not have a reference manager, and so that's another reason why this is helpful for students. So that's one of the things that I love. One thing I can also do is star this paper, which then saves it to my library. So whenever I go back over to this left navigation, I can click on this 3 bars here, and you'll see I have my library. Any article that I've starred will be saved for me. So I have a library that I can go back to of things that I commonly cite or use. Another thing that I like of one of these links down here is I can see not only the citation for this paper, I can see how many people have cited that. So when I'm doing a literature search, and this is a paper that is really spot on with what I'm interested in, increasing higher level language, so I'm going to actually pause here and come back to this. I have a 10-minute recording window, and so I'm going to end this video in about 10 seconds and restart, and I will tell you more about the citation here.